in the water?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Hey, welcome to another video. I'm Melissa here at Smiling Soil Urban Farmstead, and we just went through a pretty solid storm, as most of the US has been experiencing some intense weather right now. We had 9 inches of rain come through, and it was a huge wake-up call. The pitch of our neighbors' houses, basically their water also comes into our area. So there's just a little background. We moved into this land about 11 months ago. It was all basically abandoned lawn that was ridden with gopher holes and just needed a lot of love. And so we've been slowly transforming it over this year, but some days I'm blown away by the progress, and other days I'm just antsy for all these projects in my head to come to fruition. So a lot of work has to be done and a lot of rethinking, and I just want to share with you today where we're at. It's hard because I had some beds ready and set up, and I think I may need to abandon them, but we shall see. We will maybe delay some movements of things until late summer this year. Hopefully there's not any more 9-inch rainstorms. But we'll keep going. So let's dive in and I'll show you what's up. So let's tilt that. This area, instead of being no man's land, could be a large system of garden beds. Yes, sweetie. I'm just chit-chatting and then I'll be right back, okay? Okay, can you close the door? Thank you, sweetie. I love you. So this area is where we had a massive flood. We did recently remove concrete, so that was part of the problem. What we're going to have to end up doing is completely redesigning this area to just basically be able to take a lot of water during rain, which means, again, we're going to move this playground for the 5th time. This playground wasn't initially in our plans. We found it for free, and now it's just become a where are we going to move it while we work other places issue. But I'm going to move it over to the north side of our house, on the side that doesn't get any sun during the winter, and then we will go from there once Meru has grown out of that playground, and hopefully that's its last place hanging out with us. But this area we can turn into garden beds because it gets sun all year round, and so we're really excited about that. But we got a lot of work to do. We first need to put some pavers or concrete along the house to protect the house from termite or other infestation damage. We're not sure why though. There's growth right along this edging here. But then we're going to have to dig a 2-foot trench at least and fill it with gravel so that can start backfilling in the water that's draining down. Once I prep these beds and get them healthy again with soil that's actually viable, they will also absorb a lot of moisture, as our beds elsewhere in the gardens did during the rainstorm. Everywhere else was pretty solid where it had some healthy soil developing. But then I also want to put an apple tree in the corner. So these are all long-term goals for this side of our house. Under this oak tree we have the blueberries that are going to grow because they do love acidity, and they will still get a lot of sunlight here, so we're excited for that. But the other thing I want to do where we put in some pavers or cement right along the house is put in some more rain barrels to catch water as well, so any water coming from our roof can at least be stored. So I'll show you what our rain barrels look like. So here are our current water barrels. They're each 500-gallon barrels, and this is actually one of our smallest square surface areas on the top of our roof for water to be collected from. But it did a phenomenal job, and this setup right here actually has a little lip, so the water drips into the barrel, and once it's full, then the water will still just start draining out of this, what the heck are these things called? Oh my gosh, I cannot think of, I need to drink my coffee. Gutter. Oh my gosh, good thing I drink my coffee. So one thing people struggle to understand is that the water doesn't fill in one barrel and then fill the next. It actually fills them all equally at the same time due to the setup of how the hoses are hooked up at the bottom. And what's going to eventually happen is we're actually going to have a solar pump hooked up to this that will then be able to pump what was going to be to our beds, but this, like I said, this is going to actually turn into where our playground goes. Since in the winter there's no sun here, this is going to just be beds maybe for this spring, early summer, and then we're going to convert it to the playground, I think. Oh, so sad. But for this right now, we can actually just get water either way. I have a hose on this side. Either side has a spigot. On this side, I use our handy dandy watering can, and for now, if I just need to top off something with water, I use that, or when I'm watering our seedlings. So these guys are the ones getting the most rainwater right now, but it is a full house in here. Make sure to sign up for our newsletter. I let you know what seedlings to plant each month, and you can get all the details on how to make these soil blocks. One thing I want to share with you guys, I'll put it over here. If you don't have this book in your gardening and into gardening and growing food, you need this book. I'll link it down below. Absolutely a must-have. This guy, these folks who created this, amazing. Anyways, with that, I just wanted to share with you where we're at in mapping out. So I've got quite a few ideas for where different things will go, and I kind of draw them out for the different guilds. This isn't all inclusive, this is just ideas for things that need to still be added in that area in the front yard, because the front yard's a little bit more of a puzzle with compatibility of plants, who can grow and thrive with who. Like for example, here we're gonna have basil, tomatoes, marigolds, and different flowers that are great pollinators for them, as well as asparagus growing together, so they'll be super happy. And then the turmeric's gonna be over here. We're gonna have the three sisters, the corn, some scarlet runner beans, butternut squash. There's gonna definitely be some sunflowers over here and cucumber. I also was gonna sneak in some amaranth there, and some nasturtiums just as a little repellent as well. So that'll be flourishing. Yeah, so that's just kind of an idea of how I'm mapping this out. The backyard is a little bit more up in air again because of our flooding, but we definitely are going to have broccoli, beets, and chamomile back here together. And then we're gonna have some soybeans, eggplant, tomatillos are gonna be growing, and then some passion fruit vines going in this year. We also have some quinoa, chives, and amaranth. And in the beds we have wheat, potatoes, we got some more beans, we have some cow beans, and some more scarlet runner beans because we love them, and then some kale and different herbs to go with the potatoes to help them grow. So these guys are hanging out. We'll let them stay warm in here and let them enjoy that rainwater. We are going to need to create a little path here of gravel over to this area that I'm converting right now. This right now is going to be a bed for possibly this season if we don't move the playground beforehand. But it is going to have to turn into some sort of water pond area. So an area that can take on a lot of water, but for the most part is completely dry. So I'm pondering that right here for this waterway from this gutter, and we will go from there. By the way, our avocado trees are rocking it. This is a phoenix. They grow really tall. This is a reed. They grow really bushy. This is a frost peach. It's pretty tall. And this is a mulberry, a Pakistani mulberry that can get crazy big, so we're gonna leave it in a pot for now. Okay, so folks have also been asking, how's your garden doing? What's it look like right now? So I also just wanted to go around and give you a kind of a snapshot of where we're at in transforming this land and what our garden beds look like right now. Check it out, we have blueberry buds. These guys are flowering. Oh, I'm so excited. It's always important, random note of the day, to get 2 different varieties of blueberries. They make more blueberries that way, but you want to make sure that they both flower about the same time of the year. So it's really comforting to see these guys both flowering right now too. And this is our huckleberry that I need to find a home for as well. These guys are going to go in here once we do some rearranging, and that guy needs a new home, if anyone needs that. This is a buckwheat cover crop right now that's just covering these guys. Soon this is going to have the 3 sisters, corn, squash, and bean. There's going to be some sunflowers wrapped in here as well, and cucumbers and sunflowers go well together, so cucumbers are going to be over there. We got some beans growing and some onions and lettuces right now. Just transition. We're gonna have some soybean and cauliflower and beets and celery and all sorts of other things adding around here. We have these peas over here. So we got peas, radish, beets, carrots growing on these poles over here, just so you can kind of get an idea of our trees. We've got a pineapple guava, an orange, a key lime. Over here we have pomegranate, a lemon, an elderberry, and you can't see it, it's hidden right now, but actually right in the frame here is a cherry tree. So one thing I have been sharing on our social media, which is basically Instagram. Yeah, I'm struggling to stay on social media, but one thing I've been sharing is about fruit tree guilds. And so for this key lime, we have a bunch of things that are helping together to bring nitrogen into the soil, to aerate the roots by growing bulbs in the roots, to warding off pests. And so we have all sorts of different things here going on. We have some nasturtiums, great for warding off pests, and some yarrow, weed we don't want in there. We got strawberries growing here. They're phenomenal. We got some peas bringing in some nitrogen here, some beets to aerate the soil, some garlic as well for that, and they also ward off pests. A carrot is here, some thyme. There's some mustard greens on the other side, some parsley. We have fava beans just everywhere because they also bring in nitrogen. We don't actually use them for eating. Hi, Katie. Because you need to cut the bean before it grows. Once it flowers, if you cut it, then you get the most nitrogen storage into the soil. So that's just growing to bring nitrogen in. And yeah, and there's some onions on the other side. But I just want to show you one of our fruit tree guilds because I get a lot of questions on that, and that's what this one looks like. And as summer hits, it's gonna blossom even more. So for our front last corner here, this is actually going to be filled in with flowers. The back there is actually filled with turmeric root that's going to grow up by the window. They take a little bit of shade. These are tomato cages for tomato plants coming in, protecting them from gophers. And then we have marigolds on the inside that are going to be sprinkled in to help protect the tomatoes. That's borage. This is our asparagus crown area. So asparagus crowns are going to be grown here. There's also going to be some basil. And then over here will be filled in with flowers. So lots of good pollinating flowers for our tomatoes. So everyone in that corner should thrive. So there you have it. That's where we're at with plans and adjustments. I'm really excited for March and April, when all of these greens start to just thrive and bloom in the warmth of coming into spring and summer, and sharing with you our year progress. One thing to keep in mind is it takes about 10 years to create soil that is just thriving. Hence why there's such an urgency to do that across the world right now, as we practice monoculture systems that are depleting our soils. So as it stands right now, this soil is doing so-so, and it's amazing what we're able to pump out of it. But as time goes and as we add compost, you can check out our compost video to learn our awesome composting system. But as we start doing that and adding to the soil and not tilling to keep the microbiome happy, then oh my gosh, we're just gonna see amazing, amazing abundance here, and I am excited to continue documenting that with you. Thanks for joining us today. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.